This apparatus does not move the man. It displaces the space around him.
Kid in China programmed a fleet of drones as flying swords he can control with his hands.
I believe I got hired before that, but I was on vacation.
Why were they using AI for the Kyle Rittenhouse trial?
Can you stop, man? What's wrong with you? No, get her off the floor then.
Man, what's good with the collective? Y'all know we back with another banger, another reaction. I appreciate everybody who been tapping in, running up, and subbing up. If you new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell so you always notified whenever we drop them uploads. Y'all know we coming with about 4 videos, very smooth 7. This is for entertainment purposes as well. And when you like and comment and subscribe to the channel, helps Collective grow, helps Collective get bigger, helps more people who like this type of content tap in with this content. But I appreciate you if you're watching on your TV, whatever the case is. I wish it was smooth 7. Might be a trigger warning or 2. I hope not. But I love y'all Collective. I hope everybody doing good. Hope everybody having a smooth 7. But I ain't gonna hold you. Got a little bit of a longer video. So we're gonna get straight to it. Y'all already know what it is. Let's get straight to the video, man. Let's go.
This apparatus does not move the man. It displaces the space around him. There are no moving parts, no combustion. It moves not through parts, no combustion. It moves not through air, but across pressure waves, like skipping stones on a pond of magnetism. Our enemies won't see it, they'll just hear the thunder. What the American public is shown is at least 20 years behind what is already operational. That policy will continue unless and until it is deemed safe to run. We were told this couldn't be done. And yet, here it is, riding air like it's water. Technology is never released to the people first. It is handed to the government, then the military, and only after decades to corporations. Faster than the fastest car, lighter than a tank.
Kid in China programmed a fleet of drones as flying swords he can control with his hands.
Now I gotta see it to believe it, bro. He'd be a threat. For real.
Slap me silly and call me a conspiracy theorist. This dude, Alex Honnold, just climbed to the top of this massive skyscraper. And you know what's funny about this? This dude's amazing, by the way. However, when he got to the top of this skyscraper, no one could reach him because there was no service, which I just happen to find very interesting because in 1969, President Nixon just picked up the phone, dialed Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong from 239,000 kilometers away to the moon, and they just talked perfectly with no delays or anything. If you guys didn't know the official story of how NASA said that they made this happen, you gotta hear this. They said that Nixon just picked up a standard telephone, this one right here, made the phone call, but it was relayed through NASA's Advanced Communication System. This was in Houston, Texas, so Houston then transmitted Nixon's voice to the Goldstone Communication Complex, which is located in California. And they used these massive antennas that were beaming these frequencies, these radio waves, 238,000 kilometers away to the moon. Now, what's interesting about this is radio signals take approximately 1.3 seconds each way, meaning there should have been about a 2.6 second delay if this was the case. However, they were just talking normally, like I'm going to show you right now.
With the vision for the future. And thank you very much, and I look forward, all of us look forward to seeing you on the Hornet on Thursday.
No delay, just smoke and mirrors and a fake phone call. And I'd like to say that about 90% of people out there know that this was all bullshit, but there is still that 10% that are masked up and completely boosted that believe that this still happened. Yeah, I found all this very interesting and I just wanted to bring it to your attention because I love you guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to follow, smash that like button, share this video, and stay tuned for more. Peace and love.
Who rocking with him? Who not?
Look at the guy's foot at the top left-hand corner of your screen.
Yes.
And you'd only started working at the Recplex on August 14th, correct?
I believe I got hired before that, but I was on vacation.
Why were they using AI for the Kyle Rittenhouse trial back in 2021?
14th, correct?
I believe I got... They used that whole story as division. This ain't true what
They
I'm saying.
say curiosity killed the cat, but explain this one to me. If the shots were given away for free because they're life-saving, then why aren't chemotherapy, insulin, and EpiPens? Just asking.
Valid question. We could add a hell of a lot more to that too.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the government covered up a deadly virus outbreak at the Rocky Mountain Lab back in November? Vehicle for health and safety. Funnily enough, this is also the same lab. Anyways, buckle up. I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure we're not at risk of some horrible outbreak pandemic.
This is all for entertainment, yo.
Oi, what's that? 1,301, 1,000. Oh, yeah, I'm just counting the money that the government here in Alaska just gave me. What, you lost your job? No, it's oil money. What is that? Well, because I live in Alaska and Alaska has lots of oil, when the oil companies take the oil and sell it and make a profit, all the residents of Alaska get a dividend. An oil dividend. Whoa, that is awesome. What are you doing now? Oh, sorry, now I'm just counting my son's oil money. He gets money too. Well, he owns the oil just as much as every other Alaskan resident. Oh, yeah, I guess. Oh, hey, I mean, talk about the lucky country. You've got every mineral under the sun in the ground there. You must be getting so many mining dividends. No. A coal dividend? No. A gas dividend? Nope. Uranium dividend? Nah. Lithium dividend? Nope. Well, you exported just as much oil as we did, and you're telling me you don't get an oil dividend? No. Actually, I think we subsidize our fossil fuel companies more than they pay us in royalties. What? Come on. Oh, hang on. You pay them to take your resources so that they can make billions of dollars. And you're not getting a dividend. Don't have to laugh. You're getting scammed, bro. Yeah, okay, I guess we're not as progressive as you guys. What'd you call me? I voted for Trump.
Please explain this. There's nothing in here to make energy. Where is it coming from? We are looking at either frequency or magnetic energy. When I break contact, it goes away. ¿Qué tipo de pierde es este?
Simplemente es un cristal de roca, una tecnología avanzada.
¿Dónde es la energía? ¿De qué?
La pieza todo está codificado, son simbolismos de energía cuántica.
What I'm saying as an electrical professional is where is the energy coming from? There's no battery here. This is a solid stone. And as soon as I touch it, it goes away. That means energy is being pulled out of the ambient environment. How is this emitting light right now with no battery, no cable, no nothing connected? You could really study these things for a long time. Oh.
Sorry, that was so loud.
Tienen 4 dedos, no tienen 5.
This is soft. I can't see the tool marks. It's still covered in dirt. ¿Dónde encontraste?
Es en México.
We're bringing a specialist to test the electromagnetic frequency.
I am that specialist.
Whoa. Look at it jump.
Could be from the camera getting close to it.
Back up some. What the hell?
No,
look at it. Está cambiado. It is jumping all around. Low down there. 1 point. It's coming out of the third eye. Holy shit. What in the... Yo voy a averiguar cómo se funciona. How free energy is flowing through this rock will be the way we get free energy from this earth, the way it was supposed to be. I probably could use a little help figuring out all this big brain and shit. I am not as smart as I look.
Can you stop, man? What's wrong with you? No, he's there on the floor there.
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Yeah! Hooray for the police officers protecting us!
Alright. We serious. We talk so much about kids and the elder and our elders being taken advantage of, those who shouldn't be touched, women, kids, and the elders. They off limits, and men should be protecting them. And look what's happening, bro. We are using kids as bait. We are arresting the elders, and the women and kids are being taken off also. This shit is crazy. Not just in the United States, it's all over the world, bro. This shit's crazy. I can't be the only one who's sitting here seeing this shit. This shit is crazy, bro. Prayers.
Did you guys hear that they're calling for an even more severe winter storm this coming weekend? With temperatures being colder in Alabama than, there's no way this is legit, than Ontario, which is in the middle of freaking winter and it's minus 20 right now. Apparently, this could lead to a significant winter storm along the East Coast, which, last I checked, Toronto, which isn't quite East Coast, but it's closer than, over here, got 50 some odd centimeters. We're talking like what is that in inches? Hold on. 20 inches of snow in like 24 hours. Now, the crazy part is this is while the U.S. South, according to today's article from the Weather Network, still has over 300,000 people without power from the last storm. And now they're saying that the Gulf Coast, a rare cold is stretching to Miami and even the Caribbean with sub-freezing temperatures. Hello? This would not be the best year to go to friggin' Florida for the winter. But I know you guys in Florida don't even want too many visitors anyway. I know it's already getting busy there. But the question is this, what the Sam Dam's going on with the weather? And is it due to the changing climate or is something else going on here? But all I know is this, you gotta have your winter prep in order. I'm talking water, food, fuel, and things that will get you through prolonged power outages. And it's shocking that grocery stores only has, on average, 3 days worth of food. If the trucks aren't coming, there's a problem. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
What are they hiding at the DC monument? I need to know, because I was in the astral plane and I told you guys a story about how I'm hearing from my guides that there's big secrets at the DC monument. Why the DC monument? I don't know. I've been there once. I wasn't thinking about it. And they go, yeah, there's water by the monument, and if you look in it, there's basically a secret you can see. And they're telling me George Mason, masonry. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like, this is nonsense. Secret, DC, what? Like, okay. Post this to TikTok. I'm like, isn't this weird? What a weird thing to hear in the astral world. And then I look it up, and it's a very long-standing theory, because Freemasons and George Mason, like, helped found Washington, D.C. And Washington, D.C. and its layout are built extremely specifically, eerily, like in a pentagram.
What do you call this? What do you call this where you're from? Is this not sherbet? Is this not sherbet? When did it turn sherbet? Now, I thought that, hey, maybe it's just like a brand thing. Maybe I'm tripping. But I look, and every brand is sherbet, not sherbet. I grew up with sherbet, or I think I grew up with sherbet. When did this change? When did sherbet become sherbet? When did that change? I know in my timeline that it was sherbet. I know that this right here was sherbet. When did it become sherbet? I don't know when this became sherbet. I don't remember it becoming sherbet. My ice cream that was multicolored, that had every rainbow color in it, it was always sherbet. When did it become sherbet? Am I tripping? Am I tripping right now? Let me know.
Your Majesties, Your Royal Highnesses, Excellency, dear laureates, ladies and gentlemen. This year, the Nobel Committees in Physics and Chemistry have recognized the dramatic progress being made in intelligence. These artificial forms to computations. This new form of AI accepts My companies motivated by short-term profits. Your safety be the top priority. So, I'm here to prevent these new beings from entering fake control. They are no longer science fiction. Thank you.
Not enough people are aware that Netflix is a vessel for mass psychological warfare. The co-founder of Netflix, Mark Randolph, is the great-nephew of Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays is known as the father of propaganda, and Edward Bernays himself is the nephew of Sigmund Freud, who's known as the father of psychoanalysis. So Bernays took his understanding of Freudian psychology and applied it to mass communication and manipulation of the collective unconscious. He worked for both the CIA and the military in the realm of psychological operations. And in 1928, Bernays wrote a book titled Propaganda. 5 years prior, he wrote a book titled Crystallizing Public Opinion. The cherry on top, though, is Bernays' involvement with the Vatican. Cardinal Francis Spellman, the Archbishop of New York, sent Bernays to the Vatican to learn and study the Jesuits' methods of mental programming. This visit took place in 1957, the same year the papal bull Miranda Porcis was issued, which publicly commands all Roman Catholics to seize as much control of media as possible, whether that be through television, movies, or news outlets. For a little more context on Jesuit involvement in programming through entertainment, the Hollywood Production Code was written by Jesuit priest Daniel Lord S.J., and the Jesuits have been producing theatrical work since the time of their inception, and even helped write the works of Shakespeare through Sir Toby Matthew, who was a close friend of Francis Bacon and the Rosicrucians. So we know these guys have an affinity for programming through media. Ignoring the connection between their founder and the father of propaganda, Edward Bernays, let's examine Netflix a little further. The wife of Mark Randolph and the former CEO of Netflix was Jesuit trained at 2 different private Jesuit institutions. Other Netflix executives are also Jesuit indoctrinated, while others like Suzanne Rice and Logan Jackson are Rhodes Scholars. The Cecil Rhodes Scholarship Program is to funnel the brightest young minds to Oxford and indoctrinate them into globalist alliance. It was stated by Cecil Rhodes at the time of his death in his will that he wanted to create a secret society that was modeled after the Jesuit order.
See, that's a completely new rabbit hole. I didn't know none of that.
This is a tree in Montenegro that is consistently squirting water. Yeah. It's literally just been spewing water for like the past 25 years. How is this happening? Well, that's because the roots are actually tapped into an aquifer, an underwater aquifer. So it's acting like a spring system where it's just pulling the water up from the depths of the earth and then spraying it out. Well, we actually have this happen all the time with trees, where people are trying to cut the trees down and suddenly water starts spewing out of it because it's tapped into an underwater aquifer. Well, that really makes you think. Have you heard of Angel Falls in Venezuela? It's the tallest waterfall in the world. I believe it's over 3,000 feet tall. It's absolutely insane. And I'd really like to go visit that place sometime. Well, this waterfall is continuous. It never stops flowing. And the mainstream is saying that because of rainfall hitting the plateau and then collecting, it always has enough water to flow. I'm sure the rainfall plays a factor, but my argument would be that this could be the remains of a giant tree. Apparently this plateau is like 2 billion years old, and erosion made all of the land around it go away. So it's just one massive, perfectly flat plateau. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Kind of like the explanation with the Grand Canyon. Clearly there's water erosion, but something else is also going on. So with this giant plateau, honestly, what if it's one of the giant trees that the Bible and all of these ancient myths talk about? So that water source is coming from an underground spring where all of the fresh water comes from. Salt water and fresh water are two completely different things. And the fresh water you can only get from under the earth, where it's being filtered after it rains. And this is a tree in California that was cut down. It was so big that people could actually dance on it. Pretty crazy. Where did all the big trees go? This video was for entertainment purposes only.
I knew he was going there. Because I had the same question.
I just watched the movie Belgonia. And when I say they put stuff in our face, it's in our face. Starting off with this image right here. I once had an out-of-body experience, and I told people, Earth did not look how I thought it looked. It looked very similar to this. I've even made a depiction to tell you what Earth looked like. This is how I saw Earth. Yeah, this. Not to mention there was a being that met me there. That's not even the point of this video. There were other things that stood out, like the bees and how they've been dying off. This is the second movie talking about aliens and bees. There's clearly a message about bees, but that's not even it. As I was watching, one of the things they did was cut off Emma Stone's hair. It got me to thinking, there used to be a law against black people's hair. The Tignan law, where we as black women had to cover our hair. Make you think, doesn't it? But our hair naturally grows upward, which makes this scene even more interesting.
Where's my hair? Your hair has been destroyed to prevent you from contacting your ship. What ship? Your mothership.
And it's not just her hair. If you notice, they have lightened her skin, because it also is a transmitter to whatever mothership he's talking about, according to him. Which also got me to thinking, there's so many skin whitening creams promoted in the black community. And it's been said that melanin actually communicates, and is worth more than gold. So again, are they trying to tell us something? Also in the movie, they can only come during different moon cycles, showing you that us spiritual folks ain't crazy. The moon is important. And it goes back to that same story that I seen in another movie about the Anunnaki creating humans from monkeys. And as you can see, 85% it says has it. Only in this movie, they're adrenaline aliens instead of Anunnaki. At the same plot twist, and basically saying they live among us. She talks to the council in some language that we have no idea what she's even saying, then decides to end it all. This is actually Earth compared to her. Once she hits through the atmosphere, it's the end for everyone on Earth. So what if... No, y'all not ready for that. This is only for entertainment purposes, but make sure to like and comment and let me know what you think.
I wanted to hear her question. Just ask.
Did you guys hear what this antique collector found in a tank that he purchased on eBay that was used in the Iraqi-Kuwait war? And so he bought this thing on eBay for 30,000 pounds, I believe, or euros. Not a crazy amount. What these things, when they're restored, they're worth a lot of money to the right collector. But one day, shortly after buying it, he was investigating, doing stuff inside the tank, and he found in a secret compartment several bars valued, they say it's 68.5 pounds of pure gold hidden in this freaking tank. Now, some say it's stashed. Maybe you saw videos like this. You know, a U.S. soldier standing in a truckload of captured gold. Unfathomable, okay? But here's the crazy part, where the story takes a somewhat interesting turn. This guy, which must be the most honest man in the world, decided to inform the authorities of his findings. And what he said was, I can't just walk into the bank with this and not have a bunch of questions asked. Now, this gold today, 68.5 pounds, would be worth almost 5.3 million US dollars. But interestingly, he says he doesn't regret what happened next, which is that the authorities confiscated the gold and all they gave him was a receipt for it. I don't even know what that does. Now, I know off the coast of Florida, there was a guy who was investigating shipwrecks, and he was spending his own time and money over decades looking for lost shipwrecks, and he eventually found one with like a ton of gold and silver. And there's a big lawsuit because the government wanted to say like, hey, that's belongs to us. Like, but let me know what you guys think. If you found gold in a tank that you bought, is it your gold or should you give it to the government? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
I gotta hear y'all perspective. Should he gave it back? Should he be mad that it didn't come back? Or should he have never said nothing and just kept it? What's your thoughts? But if I found it and I used it with my own money, bro, that's my shit. Straight up. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts, bro. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. I apologize. I would have had to keep it, bro. That's way too much money, way too much generational wealth. That's way too much good I could have gave to the world. Let me know y'all thoughts. Spam it up below.
During the Joplin tornado, so many people claimed to have seen strange figures in the storm that it caught the attention of filmmakers. In the days that followed the devastation from the EF5 tornado tearing through Joplin, Missouri, stories began to emerge of tall beings shielding victims from debris with their wings. And while yes, many of the witnesses were children, they all described seeing the same thing: human-like beings with large wings compared to butterflies, reportedly shielding people from debris, guiding them to safety, or calming them as the tornado passed overhead. One child said that a winged woman stood between him and the storm. Another claimed that a man with butterfly wings led him out of a destroyed building. And one of the stories comes from a mother and her young daughter who were caught in the storm. As the mother saw a car that was about to collide with them, she used her body to shield her daughter and braced for impact. Except it never came. Her daughter then asked, "Weren't they pretty?" clarifying that she was referring to the butterfly people that had saved them. These accounts all came independently from people who had never spoken to one another, and many were recorded shortly after the event before the stories began to spread publicly. The sheer number of similar descriptions drew the attention of filmmakers who were on a mission to uncover the reason behind these so-called butterfly people. Were these experiences the result of shared trauma, or was something more mysterious happening here? While psychologists pointed to the mind's response to extreme stress and a child's tendency to fabricate things in order to process traumatic events, others believed the encounters were spiritual in nature, like angels interpreted through a child's imagination.
Some people would like to say that the 1% of the government ain't the fallen angels, and that these people who saved these people are the fallen angels. Meanwhile, the real fallen angels probably created this damn tornado. But they're blaming on the damn alien or one of these butterfly people. That. I know the comments coming. I know it's coming. I'm ready for it though.
Hi, yes, we should not have touched this. It is definitely a cursed item, and you should cleanse. Okay.
And can somebody tell me what this is and why it moved by itself near me? So I pulled up and I seen this at a job site, and I went over there and I took a picture of it and I was going to send it to my friends, and I was like, spooky, right? So I took a picture. I was going to pick it up and take a picture of its body because it's weird. So I bent down to pick it up and I had the most intense, immediate gut reaction, like, don't touch it. And then I heard in my head, just don't touch it. And I didn't. I did not touch it. I go about my business, I'm working, and I turn around and it has tilted like this, and it looks like it's side-eyeing me. It's totally weird. But it kind of makes me think, I'm like, the wind isn't blowing that hard right now. Like, what is going on? So then I I do my job, I go to a different road, and then I come back, and it's back in the original position. I'm like, okay, what the heck? Every time I turn my head, this thing moves. So since then, I've had 2 incidences. The night after this, I woke up out of a dead sleep. I could not catch my breath. And it wasn't like, oh, I can't catch my breath. It was like, ugh. It was so weird, and it creeped me out. And then yesterday, I was with my kid, and we were doing some scavenger hunt in Weatherford, and we were walking around, and a piece of my hoodie that goes over my face, I inhaled it, and it went down my windpipe, and I started coughing, and I coughed so hard, it made me throw up. And I was throwing up for like 30 minutes trying to get this thing out of my windpipe. So Can someone tell me if you've seen this, or if you know, or if you put it there? Can you tell me that you didn't have any ill intentions and that this is all in my head, please? And I did factor in that it might have been the wind. So when I came back after going to the other street, I came back to clean up what I had messed up. And I recorded this for a whole like 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And it did not move. It wasn't like sitting there teeter-tottering. Like, it was solid. So what did I encounter here? And some tips and tricks. If it did transfer some bad energy to me, like, how do I get rid of it? I know this is weird. Like, this sounds crazy, but oh.
The ice wall was never real. It was all an illusion, and we've all been fooled. There was no barrier around our continents that prevented us from going anywhere else. There's nothing there. It's completely warm, and we can go sail anywhere we want. This is the Urbano Monte map from 1587, and they drew exactly what they saw back then. This is not just some made-up map. And what we see on the outside of all our continents, what we might think is Antarctica, is actually green. So why was it so warm back then? Well, the truth is, there never was an ice wall, and this is how things have always been. And if you didn't know, there was something called a Little Ice Age from the 1300s to the 1800s. So likely a lot of these continents have actually sank, and there are still portions of these continents that are still there, probably most of it. So we can literally just go sail there and find out what's over there. There's nothing that's stopping us. The government can't have everyone they can't have like 1,000 or 10,000 soldiers stationed throughout every spot. So they're just trying to fool us and make us think there's nothing left, when in reality we can just go sail there and literally no one's gonna stop us. This is the only real part of Antarctica. The rest of it is completely made up. This is where they have the geographic North Pole. This is where they have little islands surrounding it where you can go travel there on like a $30,000 cruise. You're not going to an actual huge icy continent that's not even real. You're just going to some small little island which has the blood falls, which I know you've seen before. Do I have to explain this again? This is obviously a dead carcass of like a giant leviathan or a dragon, maybe even a dinosaur that's thawing out. This is blood coming from it, not just like water mixed with iron. Besides, iron is in blood. It's one of the main ingredients to make it that color. So this is the only place you're going on vacation, just the carcass of a dead leviathan. And this section is the Ross Ice Shelf, which is just part of one of the other continents, which is warm. And it's only cold on this part because it's just a floating mass of ice that is surrounding the area. It's just floating through. So guys, it turns out we don't even have to sail past like in between two ice walls and find the perfect opening. We can just go around the little ice cubes, the icebergs that are floating around, and go to these new continents and then find out what's over there. Most likely it's probably just the same thing as our lands, so we'd have to go even past those ones. Like, it's probably just like Torrid and Terenza, with people accidentally flying to our continents by mistake and not knowing what's going on, then they just get evacuated out of there.
Alright, so I just had to take this shit off the live because y'all always complaining about me not getting no good footage or clear footage. I'm out in the middle of the ocean. But I'm about to go home because y'all got me up, bro. I'm hearing noises out here, and I know I'll be out here looking for these shits for y'all, but I am not fucking with no mermaids, bro. I'm out, bro. I think...
If that was real, he wouldn't have never got found or posted that.
Recently, something terrifying happened in the United States. People reported hearing trumpet-like sounds coming directly from the sky.
Lighten up now. That's crazy, man. Man, that's crazy. It's like a trumpet. It's like a judgment trumpet.
Several witnesses managed to record the moment. In the video, a loud metallic sound echoes above the city, deep, powerful, and completely unnatural. It doesn't sound like planes. It doesn't sound like construction. Many described it as trumpets blowing from the sky itself. What makes this even stranger is the atmosphere at that moment. The sky suddenly darkened, as if a storm was forming out of nowhere. Some people reported a brief flash of lightning, even though there was no storm forecast. The sound lasted long enough to confuse and frighten everyone who heard it. Similar trumpet sounds have been reported around the world for years, and many link them to ancient prophecies. In the Bible, trumpets are described as signs before major world-changing events, warnings meant to be heard by everyone. So where did this sound really come from? A natural phenomenon, military technology, or something far more unsettling? What do you think it was? Write your opinion in the comments and follow me, because events like this may be warnings we shouldn't ignore.
We've been hearing that shit for years.
You don't know what's going on in Greenland, but you don't want to look like a thicky dum-dum in front of all your mates. Here's a quick rundown before the Americans try to buy you as well. Greenland is here. It's bloody massive, and Trump first said he wanted the US to have it back in 2019. But he was in his silly era back then, saying things like bleach could cure.
And then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute.
So everyone just sort of laughed it off. But Trump isn't in his silly era anymore. He's in his mental era, and he said that he wants the US to own Greenland again more seriously. But Trump isn't the first US president to want to buy Greenland, no. In fact, America had tried to buy it 4 times in the past, most recently in 1955, when the most fabulous president who ever did live, Dwight D. Eisenhower, said that America should just take the island because they'd built a military base there in the Second World War to shoo away the Germans, because the Germans had taken Denmark, who had owned Greenland for 300 years. But now Donald Trump is saying he doesn't care that Denmark have owned Greenland for 300 years.
The fact that they had a boat land there 500 years ago doesn't mean that they own the land.
Which is a risky thing for an American to say, given that the only reason the United States exists is because people sail a boat there and claim they now own the land. Back to the national security thing. So if Trump is saying he needs Greenland to protect America, but America already have a military base there that Denmark have said they can make bigger if they want, does he want to own it? Because Trump is a real estate businessman baby who doesn't understand any concepts outside of buy and sell.
You don't defend leases the same way. You have to own it.
But the thing is, the 56,000 people who live in Greenland said they don't want to be owned by the United States. They'd rather stay with Denmark. I wonder why. So in order to tell the Americans that, the Danish foreign minister and the Greenland foreign minister had a meeting with haunted forehead Marco Rubio and Vice President JD Pissed His Pants yesterday. As you can imagine, the meeting didn't go very well because Forehead and Pissed His Pants said that they don't care if Greenland don't want to be owned by the US. They need Greenland because otherwise China or Russia will take it, which is a load of bollocks because, as we've established, the Americans already have a military base there, which Denmark have said they can make bigger if they like. Why won't you listen? So what else could be going on here, Well, Greenland also have fancy minerals, ooh la la, which the Americans like because they could use them for
Anything having to do with military protection, military ships, vehicles, guns, ammunition.
Also, thanks to the catastrophic effects of burning fossil fuels, lots of the ice in Greenland is melting, unearthing more fossil fuels that the Americans could burn to unearth more fossil fuels because there'll be no ice left. Also, the US attacking Greenland would pretty much end the NATO alliance, which Greenland is in via Denmark, because one NATO member isn't allowed to attack another NATO member because that ruins the whole point. Now, it's possible that Trump wants to ruin NATO because he thinks that America puts too much of the infinite amount of money it seems to have into it. Also, if NATO fell apart, it would weaken other European unions like the European Union, thereby strengthening right-wing forces within those countries that are more ideologically aligned to Trump, like the crazy right-wing bastards in France and Germany. So anyway, Denmark is now putting more military forces into Greenland. Spooky, spooky. But that's unlikely to stop Trump from invading it if he wants to and sticking his gross Trump logo on the entire island.
While we arguing over Greenland, oil, all this bullshit, bro, y'all realize that the poverty rate is increasing like crazy? Do y'all realize, like, inflation? And in a previous video, I said, look, if we don't watch out, bro, everybody's about to be in the same category. Starving, no food, homeless, can't afford, or we don't want to because they bringing in the extra shit. Pay with your hand, pay with your palm, social credit scores, Marshall for entertainment. What I'm saying ain't true. But if we don't watch out, bro, that's where we all headed. So man, it's almost like we just this division shit is like is beyond me, bro. It's beyond me. Everybody likes to worry about the wrong shit. That's what it really feels like. It feels like the people in charge are worried about the wrong shit.
How many United States military veterans have you deported?
Sir, we have not deported U.S. citizens or military veterans.
I don't believe you served in the military. I haven't either, but I think you and I can agree that as Americans, we owe everything to those who have served our country in uniform, particularly those who have served in combat. Do you agree with that?
Sir, I believe that people that are in this United States that are citizens have legal status here. Those
Madam Secretary, we are joined on Zoom by a gentleman named Se-Jun Park. He is a United States Army combat veteran who was shot twice while serving our country in Panama in 1989. Like many veterans, he struggled with PTSD and substance abuse after his service. He was arrested in the 1990s for some minor drug offenses, nothing serious. He never hurt anyone besides himself, and he's been clean and sober for 14 years. He is a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient. He has sacrificed more for this country than most people ever have. Earlier this year, you deported him to Korea, a country he hasn't lived in since he was 7 years old. Will you join me in thanking Mr. Park for his service to our country?
Sir, I'm grateful for every single person that has served our country and follows our laws.
Can you please tell
And knows
Mr.
that our
Park
laws
why
are
you
important
deported
and
him?
Every one of them needs to be enforced.
But you understand that many veterans struggle with PTSD, many veterans struggle with substance abuse challenges. This man took 2 bullets for our country. You have broad authority, by the way, as Secretary, to issue humanitarian parole, to do deferred action. Will you commit to at least looking at Mr. Park's case to see if you can help him find a pathway back to this country that he sacrificed so much for?
Absolutely look at his case, but I want you
Thank
to
you.
remember that
Madam
our
Secretary, the
programs
man
need to have
behind
integrity
you,
as
please
well.
stand up, sir. His name is Jim Brown from Troy, Missouri. He is a Navy combat veteran who served our country in the Gulf War. He's married to a woman named Donna, who came to our country legally from Ireland when she was 11 years old. She has lived here for 48 years. Because of you, Jim's wife Donna has been in prison for the last 4 months. She did not come here illegally, and she has never committed any crime other than writing 2 bad checks totaling $80 10 years ago. She is currently in prison and facing deportation. Ms. Noem, will you thank Mr. Brown for his service to our country?
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for your service to our country.
Now, what possible explanation can there be for locking up his wife for 4 months when she has committed no crime other than writing a couple of bad checks for $80?
Sir, it is not my prerogative, my latitude, or my job to pick and choose which laws in this country get enforced.
You have
and
broad
which ones
discretion
don't.
as the Secretary.
We need to follow
you can issue
the law
parole, you
and
can do all
enforce
kinds
the
of things,
laws.
but you're choosing not to. Will you commit again to just reviewing Donna's case and reuniting this combat veteran with his beloved wife who also loves this country?
I will review the case.
Now, Madam Secretary, you've already heard the story of Lance Corporal Alejandro Barranco, the United States Marine veteran who is behind you, who also has 2 brothers who are United States Marines. Will you thank Lance Corporal Barranco for his service?
Thank you for your service.
His father, Narcisco Barranco, is a landscaper in California who has lived peacefully in our country for 30 years and has no criminal record. Last spring, while he was mowing the lawn at an IHOP, ICE agents tackled him in the street and imprisoned him for weeks. A peaceful, hard-working man who raised 3 sons to be United States Marines. We need men of that character in this country. Again, as Secretary, you have broad discretion. Will you consider Lance Corporal Barranco's father for parole in place to stay in our country, owing to the fact that he has contributed to our country by raising 3 United States Marines?
This is an opportunity to remind everybody that every person that's in this country illegally has an opportunity to voluntarily go home and come back the right way.
He
Follow
raised
our
3
laws,
United States
and we will
Marines.
facilitate that.
He has been living here
Let's-
peacefully, doing his job for 30 years. You have discretion. You are choosing not to use it. Madam Secretary, you promised America that you would go after the worst of the worst. But these people are not the worst of the worst. A Purple Heart recipient, a military spouse, the father of 3 Marines. And it's not just veterans and military families. You are locking up and deporting children with cancer, mothers with babies in the NICU, United States citizens. There are many problems with your leadership, but the biggest problem is this. You don't seem to know how to tell the difference between the good guys and the bad guys. Go after the bad guys. Go after the terrorists. Do not go after veterans, Marines, children,
Gentleman's
United
time's
States
expired.
citizens.
Y'all see how they cut him when he start eating their ass up. But I'm gonna just say, America's biggest problem. The world has this problem too, but America's biggest problem is we have too many perspectives. We don't even have too many perspectives. We got two main perspectives. We got one who see it this way. We got one who see it this way. And we never can agree. And that's why shit is always how it is. That's why America is how it is. Instead of her kind of taking accountability, knowing she kind of dropped the ball a little bit, I see she's trying to make sure that she's not letting people in or, you know, people illegally. I see what she's trying to do. She's trying to stand firm on her job duty, what she signed up for. But I also see it as she is making some mistakes because he's kind of giving some valid points. Instead of her kind of holding herself accountable, saying, you know what, I'm trying to do it this way and I might have messed up a little bit, it would discredit the people who do believe in her. Will stop believing in her if she was to do that in a weird way. And that's the problem with the world. Like, look, she still has a butt. She's not gonna help them people, bro. She looked like she was gonna be on some asshole shit. Like, you think you're gonna get me right now, but I'm not doing that. I stand firm on what I believe. Like, and I get it, but I don't agree with it. You know what I mean? I understand it, but I don't agree with it. And the crazy thing is, bro, it's like you damn near gotta be perfect in America. Straight up. You damn near gotta be perfect. If they hadn't have made those mistakes, $80 checks, nobody knows her circumstance. What if they had no food? People who ain't never struggled ain't gonna understand that perspectives. See, you gotta be able to know what it's like to struggle to understand somebody taking it to the extreme for they struggle. Some people will never understand that. Some people had a silver spoon or a gold spoon and a fork and a hot plate in front of their face every day when they was kids. 2-parent household, big ass house, generational wealth. Some people have had that, some people haven't. But this the problem with America, man. She's moving the goalposts too. Because every time he came with something that made a lot of sense, that was like, okay, you thought she would agree, she'll move it and be like, but this and but that. That's America for you, bro. That's America for you. Moral of the story, you damn near got to be perfect. Straight up. Damn near got to be perfect. That's how I was raised. You can't make mistakes. If you do, you got to fix them and clear them up quick. Because they'll come back on you like this. Oh, God. A Purple Heart is over there in... back in Korea, ain't been there since he was a kid. He was here legally. He fought for the... This shit crazy.
Did y'all see this right here? We're about to take a pretty quick trip down the rabbit hole. First though, obviously, we can see something very abnormal happening with their eyes right here. I wonder what would slot the eye the entire length of the eyeball. But watch how it goes from a round pupil to a slotted. What in the world? And we're also about to take a look into some very weird faces and also some very strange things happening at. What's going on with this dude? What? That could just be contrast added from the camera or exposure, or the lack thereof. But that camera lighting, exposure, anything cannot change the shape of your pupil. So lie to yourself if you want to. We've seen this stuff for years, guys. So you mean to tell me that Macron got a very brilliant eye injury to wearing sunglasses to this up here? Of course, it's just a wrinkle. Pompeo, of course, just a wrinkle. Picos them? No, I doubt it. And then right here, we have Whoa Vicky recounting the time to get into a party she had to have her blood pricked and her phone taken away. Have to block out certain parts of the video so it'll be allowed. But of course, that's unrelated to the beginning of this video, right? If you did see my last episode on YT, I talked about how the fallen angels took on a different form when they fell. Proven by ancient religions with skystones worshipping reptile deities. Again, unrelated.
If you ask me, no one ever asked me. But if you ask me, this is probably the most important video to watch. It's just my opinion.
Not your father, my father Yahweh, who isn't your father. Of course, your father is talked about by my father in John 8:44, stating that your father was Satan and that you're the descendant of Cain, who was the first. And you know that's true because you teach it in your synagogue. Well, that's true, but it's not for you going to know. But right now it's too late. It's over for you, white race. So that's why I'm speaking so honestly here, to bring it out into the open so that you can see it for what it is. You've been teaching the people real good, but they don't wake up, do they? You don't get a lot of followers, do they? Because you know why? They're scared of us Jews, because they don't want to be called anti-Semites, and they believe that we're the chosen people, and so that's why we can do whatever we want to do, and we can get away with it because the white men are cowards, and we go to the synagogue all the time and have some Manischewitz and dance the Hava Nagila. You know, it's interesting. I've told people for years and years, it's not that you Jews are hiding anything. You're coming right out on television, in the newspapers, on the radio, and you're telling the people exactly what you're going to do before you do it, and they're like they're brain dead.
For real.
Well, we did a good job with the public school system. We got you to put all of your children in there. You notice that the Jew doesn't put his children in there. They go to the Hebrew Academy where we teach them the real things, and then they go to the synagogue and they learn the real important things. But we send your kids to the public school. We even have you tax yourself from your property so that you never own your property. And so if you don't make your property tax, we're going to take your property. You can bet on that. And we have you put your kid in a 12-year babysitting is about all it does, because you don't learn anything. And then by that time, the kids, they get to be teenagers, and then we give them the music. Not that we really want to call it music, because, oy vey, that's not music. But they listen to that, and then they want to do what they want to do, and so we sell them. And we make a lot of money off your children. Your children from cradle to grave. All we do is make money off of them. Your cattle, your goyim, the human cattle. Mazel tov.
Young Pharaoh, please don't get mad at me, because I try to get you to explain it again, and I try to ask you to explain it again. So if I'm trying to explain my comments, talk about something, you ain't saying it right, and I didn't say that. Young Pharaoh brought up spiders. I'm like, why you still listening to him? Why you still listening to him? It's still the same vessel. It's just the spirit been tweaked a little bit. And quite frankly, I think he just got tired of the fact that trying to put niggas on and trying to wake niggas up, and y'all ain't doing nothing about it. He was talking about the spiders. Fleas is in the same family as spiders. He was saying that World War II was really about the spiders, because they were using them as like a weapon. And he said, you know, because why is it called spider? I didn't even think about that. He was saying that they were extraterrestrial insects, also in the same family as octopuses, because octopuses also have 8 legs. Giant octopuses, they swim across the bottom of the ocean, and they're extraterrestrials, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to destroy civilizations that live in the water deep in the ocean, right? And they're being used by our... He was saying the reason that they put them in the gas chambers is because they had lice. It's called a delicing program. A delicing program. Tell me why. As soon as he said that shit, they cut his live off. And then y'all want to sit here and talk about some Young Pharaoh's gone. He's gone. He's not him anymore. No, he just tired of trying to repeat the same mother shit and keep trying to put people on and keep trying to debunk and tell the mother, and he gets shut down by this platform. You understand he's been attacked. It's still him. You know what I'm saying? He just don't give a more, because y'all don't give a fuck. As soon as he said that, they shut his live off. Now, mind you, if they were if that was not true what he said, why did you shut his live down? And so tell me why. I looked it up. Hold on, let me show you real quick. He was not lying. And y'all want to sit here and talk about some, oh, he's gone. He's this and that and the third. I still believe in everything he said. This man taught me everything I know. He woke me up. Operation Paperclip was all about how they was using ticks, and now that everybody got goddamn Lyme disease. Here we go. It says laundering and temperatures lethal to lice. He was talking about how spiders and how they jump and how they retract back. And goddess Neith, who is an Egyptian or Kemet goddess, she's the webbing goddess, right? She creates the webs. lie, and I just can't believe this. But anyway, Pharaoh, if I didn't say that right, if you ever see this video, if I did not say that right, come back on the live and correct me, or correct me in my comments. Let me know if I'm not, you know what I'm saying? But when you said it, I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a hot damn second. It was a whole nother piece to that shit. So, I don't know. Look this shit up, y'all. Oh, yeah, they definitely gonna Project Esther me. Oh, yeah, they definitely gonna Project Esther me, y'all. So you get it while you can.
Some of you might know me because of a story I broke last March concerning something called the Guardians of the Looking Glass. Basically, what we had here is a technology that was built which would give those people who operated that technology, of course, a huge advantage because they could see and view timelines within a stream, within a field. You know, the awareness of this technology came to us through certain whistleblowers, and one of them was a guy by the name of Dan Burish, who went into some detail about how that technology was acquired. It starts at the end of the Second World War. It was the first time that the United States ever came into contact with certain ETs, you could say, who began appearing over the skies of the United States. And their appearance, again, was accompanied by crashes and captures of both the craft and the pilots piloting that craft. And it leads directly to the formation of the breakaway civilization, that which was created by one ultra secret society that was called Majestic 12. They who have ultimately come into possession of the Looking Glass material and time travel and other technologies ever since. So between 1947 and the early 50s, there were a series of crashes that took place, not just one, and they started the whole back engineering process. And they also had captured extraterrestrial beings. And the Looking Glass has ended up in S4 Area 51.
The program out at Area S4 consisted of 3 projects: Project Galileo, Project Sidekick, and Project Looking Glass. Project Galileo dealt with gravity propulsion. Project Sidekick dealt with a beam weapon that had a neutron source and was focused by a gravity lens. Project Looking Glass dealt with the physics of seeing back in time.
What they really discovered, in principle, is that the ETs are not really truly ETs. They're us from the future. They call them J-rods.
A long period of introduction into meeting, you know, say an ABE, an alien. I call them J-Rod, of course that's what they call him, but that wasn't his, you know, I don't know if that was his real name or not. That's the name that the linguist gave him. So he knew J-Rod.
Came from Zeta Reticuli, which is what we are going to colonize in the future. And they traveled back 52,000 and 45,000 years respectively.
State plan of origin? Okay, yesterday you told us you traveled, and I quote, thousands of light years to get here. So you're human.
To exactly before this time, before this event takes place, for different reasons. What they found was that there are 3 types of beings. There's 2 J-rods, which were called P-52s. The P-52s were for 52,000 years in the future, and the P-45s were from 45,000 years in the future. And the P-45s weren't interested in helping us. They were just here to harvest genetic materials which they had lost over the course of tens of thousands of years of exposure. The P-52s also returned because they came back and they were trying to tell us our consciousness can affect our timeline. Not just the timeline, but also cosmic events. They were trying to tell us that the cosmic event, which is about to happen, can be affected by our collective consciousness. It's going to play out in 2 ways. It could end up with a timeline that prevails that's an organic timeline, where mankind will begin to wake up and en masse, and that we will change the trajectory of that course by raising our consciousness, and then there's going to be some event, and our change in consciousness will actually set in motion a positive version of how that event affects us. We've heard about ancient civilizations like Atlantis or Lemuria or Mu, and they come and go. They always seem to end in some huge cataclysm or some destruction, some destructive event happens, society blows up. It's like a loop. Eventually it would have to crack that loop. So maybe here is the chance to actually break that loop. And the other timeline they were talking about that may prevail is this transhumanist timeline. Along comes 2022, and it's been like 10 years since the last Looking Glass whistleblowers had been out there talking about it, Dan Bush and a few others. But this suddenly appeared, this group calling themselves the Guardians of the Looking Glass. We are the Guardians of the Looking Glass. We're a group of former intelligence officers and military officials who have come together to release classified information about future events to come. Our knowledge comes from our work on the Looking Glass artifact, first discovered in Iraq. During this time, the artifact was activated by the US military and connected to computers. We were able to see dozens of future timelines and the convergent singularities that led to two possible outcomes by the year 2030. In one outcome, humanity awakens and the current order is dismantled, and an event occurs, and instead of this event being negative, it is a positive one. In the other outcome, the current structure remains in place, a nuclear war takes place along with many horrible events, then the event occurs, and instead of being a positive event, it's a negative one. I'm going to talk about what we can do about it, and that's got to do with the positive timeline. We have opportunity here. The J-Rods, they told us that basically they were talking about these two primary timelines. That there is a future where a possibly pole shift related environmental catastrophe is averted and does not happen. And relative to this different timeline, the future that generated the J-Rods as we know them will never evolve from our own, and we have taken a new path. So in this timeline, which also the Guardians saw, there is a probability of that happening, and so they talk about that as well. If the post-global pole shift environmental catastrophe does not occur, the benefits could be to alternatively produce a human consciousness, liberating evolutionary leapfrog, and a level of enlightenment among the masses that will produce a new set of future timeline trajectories that will compassionately steer the course of humanity into a virgin future of untold beneficial futures and heights, and in fact fulfill the original evolutionary directive to evolve consciousness of humanity to its optimum potential as future creative agencies in the universe. These messages that we got from these J-Rods decades ago are trying to reinforce that idea, and now we're starting to, maybe the reason this came up now is because we're kind of at that last moment where we could make it happen.
This is why your thoughts are actually living beings. Human beings are surrounded by an infinite combination of the matter and energy that exist on the mental plane. Now, science has proven everything in the universe is vibration, a collection of atoms moving back and forth at a certain speed, and depending on the speed, we get solid, liquid, or gas. Sound is also a vibration, and so are thoughts. Understand, every thought you think creates a correlated set of vibration within the body. When this happens, a portion of your energy is separated from the body and shaped by the vibration of your thoughts. To visualize this, understand, science has made vibration visible. You pour sand onto a plate and you vibrate the plate using a tone generator. The vibrations in the plate causes the sand to organize itself into a geometric structure. We live in an ocean of particles and energy. It's the vibration of our thoughts that shape this energy into a reality for us to experience. The higher you go in frequency, the more complex the structure. Using cymatic patterns, someone was actually able to create a perfect image purely from sound. Imagine this is the astral plane and this face is a thought. When you have a thought and you broadcast that vibration, it takes the energy, the matter, the stuff of the astral plane, and it uses that matter to form itself. Once that thought has its form, it is a living being, animated by the idea that generated it. If you've experienced intense anxiety, you know that overwhelming feeling of being screamed at by thousands of voices inside your head. If those voices were you, you'd be able to stop them. Why do you think with no external stimulus, you can sit here and think yourself into an angry or an extremely sad state? These thoughts are life that carry emotion and energy. All is mind. You and reality are just thoughts. If you want to learn more, check out Thought Forms by Annie Besant and CW Lead Beater.
What if your clock is wrong? What if we've been going off the wrong time? Would that leave a way for people to, I don't know, time travel? Let's look at this for 2 seconds. We're used to a clock looking like this. 3, you got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, everybody can agree that's what a clock would look like. But again, in vortex math, we have no double digits, right? There's no double digits. So in a clock, in theory, if we're using vortex math, this whole chunk of time does not even exist. We are using it, but it doesn't play out. We are actually like in dog years because 1 plus 0 is actually this. It's just 1. 11, you add 1 and 1 together, that's just actually 2. 12, that's just actually 3. So our clock should look different. Let's rearrange things just a little bit. Let's take this out. Let's put the 9 up at top. So we have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's what the clock should look like. A little triangle. Now let's do something really cool with this. Let me see if I can switch markers. Let's see if we can apply this 3, 6, 9 pattern. Remember, 1 plus 1 is 2. Then we have 4, 8, 7, 5, 1. So let's just map that out on a clock. If 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 8 is 16, but again, in vortex math, we are adding the 6 plus 1, so that's 7. 7 plus 7 is 14, but in vortex math, we're adding the 4 plus 1, so that equals 5. 5 plus 5 is 10, but you add those together, and that's your 1. So look at what we have. This little pattern that goes on forever. Kind of looks like what? Kind of looks like a Volkswagen symbol, does it not? Almost like those German Nazi people back in the day. They knew what they were doing because guess where Nikola Tesla came from? He came from Germany. He was one of the top scientists for Hitler before we stole him and brought him over here and said, hey, guess what? Make some electricity for us. So this concept, this theory was something that they used back in the day. It was kept as a secret for all of us from all time. Why was it kept a secret? Well, because if time is wrong and we are all a slave to the system, then it keeps us in check, does it not? It makes us do stuff according to what we think. We think that seasons are this long. We think that a year is, so many days. But if it's wrong and we have been brainwashed and we just go with it and our mind tricks us to think that, then we're all sleeping, right?
That's why time matters. That's why some people will say this is kind of pointless. It's like, bro, it's not. Because you're not in flow. You're not in tune. You're not in sync with the universe, with the natural flow of timing, of things like that. You're not in flow with it. You're not in sync with it. If you disagree, you disagree. If you agree, I'm all with it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, man. I'm curious to hear it. I like how he just went that way. Because, I didn't think about that. I mean, the concept, yes, but not how he broke down the clock. I didn't think about that. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. Y'all know we made it to the end of this, and if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell so you always notified whenever we drop them uploads. Y'all know we coming with about 4 videos every smooth 7, and this is for entertainment purposes as well. And when you like and comment and subscribe to the channel, helps Collective grow, helps Collective get bigger, helps more people who like this type of content tap in with this content. But I appreciate y'all, Collective, watching your TV, whatever the case is. I wish it was smooth 7. I love y'all. Till I see everybody in the next one. Y'all know what it is. We gone.
I just check my account. Sheesh, at the amount. You probably know what I'm